Good morning, welcome all. In this class, we will discuss about Unit 1 Transmission Line Theory, and the topics to be covered are waveform distortion, infinite line, wavelength, velocity of propagation, distortionless line, loading, and Campbell equation. So what do you mean by waveform distortion? The received signal is not an exact replica of the transmitted signal. The signal is said to be distorted. That means the received signal is not looking same as that of the transmitted signal. And there are three types of distortion commonly occurring, which are mentioned as due to variation in characteristic impedance with frequency distortion due to the variation of attenuation constant with frequency, and phase distortion which occurs due to variation of phase constant with frequency. So these are the three types of distortion. One due to variation of characteristic impedance with frequency, second one is frequency distortion, and third one is phase distortion. We'll define all these three terms. So first we will discuss about distortion due to characteristic impedance varying with frequency. So the characteristic impedance of the line varies with frequency, while the line is terminated in an impedance which does not vary with the frequency in a similar fashion as that of Z0. That means the characteristic impedance varies with frequency. When this occurs means if the line is terminated in an impedance which does not vary with frequency as that of Z0. Okay. So this is how the distortion occurs due to the characteristic impedance, not proper characteristic impedance. Okay. The power is what is the effect due to this distortion means the power is absorbed at certain frequencies while get reflected for certain frequencies. There exists selective power absorption due to this type of distortion. That is, for some frequencies the power is absorbed, while for some frequencies it is reflected. Hence it is called selective power absorption. So Z0, the formula for Z0 equal to root of R plus j omega L by G plus j omega C. Take R outside. So 1 plus j omega L by R by G into, take G outside, G into 1 plus j omega C by G. If for the line the condition LG equal to CR is satisfied, so if LG equal to CR, then L by R equal to C by G. Substitute in this. So you will be having 1 plus j omega into L by R equal to 1 plus j omega into C by G. Okay. So Z0 will become Z0 equal to, so these two terms will become equal because L by R equal to C by G. So these two terms will be getting cancelled. So you have the characteristic impedance as root of R by G angle is 0 or root of L by C, both because R by G equal to L by C. So Z0 equal to root of L by C. That means there is no imaginary term and it is purely resistive. The characteristic impedance is purely resistive. This eliminates the distortion and hence selective power absorption. That means if the impedance is properly terminated, then there will not be the distortion due to the characteristic impedance. The characteristic impedance will become purely resistive. So for that to occur, we should satisfy the condition LG equal to CR. Next one is frequency distortion. So already we have derived the expression for attenuation constant like this. So this is the expression for characteristic attenuation constant. In this itself we have seen that there exists omega terms. That means this attenuation constant is dependent on the frequency. It's a function of frequency. So hence different frequencies transmitted along the line will be attenuated to different extents. So for different frequencies, say for example 10 kHz will be attenuated differently and 100 kHz will be attenuated differently. So different frequencies will be attenuated to different extent. That means the received signal will not be exact replica of the transmitted signal. Such distortion is called frequency distortion, and this frequency distortion is serious in the case of audio signals than in video signals. So this frequency distortion can be eliminated with the help of equalizers. The frequency and phase characteristics of equalizers are designed such that they are inverse to those of the line. That is the frequency and phase characteristics of the equalizer should oppose the frequency and phase characteristics of the transmission line. So in that case, which will nullify the distortion, then the overall frequency response is uniform in nature. Coming to the phase distortion, this is the expression for beta or phase constant. The phase constant also varies with the frequency. Now the velocity is given by V equal to omega by beta, ratio of angular frequency to the phase constant. This gives the velocity. So the velocity of propagation also varies with the frequencies. As beta is dependent on frequency, velocity is also dependent on frequency. That means some velocity will reach receiving end very fast, while some waves will get delayed than others. Hence all waves will not have same transmission time. Each wave will be having its own transmission time. The output wave at receiving end will not be exact replica of the input wave at sending end. This type of distortion is called phase distortion or delay distortion. So this phase distortion is serious in the case of video and picture transmitter than in the case of audio signal. So it will, each of the signal will be received at different times. So there exists phase distortion. And what is the remedy for this means you can use coaxial cables. Use of coaxial cables eliminates phase distortion. Next, this is an infinite line. What do you mean by infinite line? The impedance is the characteristic impedance of the Z. Characteristic impedance is Z0. The impedance of infinite line is characteristic impedance. So what are the properties of infinite line? An infinite line is a line in which the length of the transmission line is infinite. For infinite line, there is no possibility of reflection at the receiving end. There is no reflection at the receiving end. So as the reflected waves are absent, the characteristic impedance at the sending end will decide the current flowing for an applied voltage. So the current will not be affected by the terminating impedance. So for an infinite line, the impedance is the characteristic impedance. The impedance of the line is the characteristic impedance and there is no reflection. So coming to the wavelength and velocity of propagation, this is called the wavelength. So when a wave passes through a length of 2 pi radians, okay, the distance through which the wave travels along the line, while the phase angle is changing through 2 pi radians. So the phase angle is changing through 2 pi, one complete cycle, 2 pi radians is called the wavelength. So this distance is called the lambda or wavelength, which is given by 2 pi by beta in meter. The unit is in meter. And the velocity of propagation is defined as the ratio of angular frequency to the phase constant. That means V equal to omega by beta in meter per second. And the relation between velocity and frequency equal to V equal to F lambda. Then we will see about distortionless line. So we have two different terms called distortionless line and lossless line. For a distortionless line, there is no phase or frequency distortion and also properly terminate. That means no distortion due to characteristic impedance or no phase distortion or no frequency distortion. Then that line is called the distortionless line. And to derive the condition, we have to substitute Lg equal to Cr. This is the condition for distortionless line. Okay. So now the equation for propagation constant is root of r plus j omega into g plus j omega c. Taking square, gamma square equal to this, and gamma. So multiply the equate there is a group the real terms and the imaginary terms. We have gamma square equal to rg minus omega square Lc plus j omega c into rc plus Lg. Now for minimum attenuation, we have the condition Lg equal to Cr. So substituting this, gamma square equal to rg minus omega square Lc plus, so here rc plus Lg can be replaced with rc. So 2 j omega rc. So we can also replace rc equal to Lg equal to root of rc Lg. So a distortion line is one in which the attenuation constant is frequency independent, while the phase constant is linearly dependent on frequency. So coming to the equations, so the here rc minus omega square Lc instead of 2 j omega rc, here I have replaced 2 j omega. Instead of rc I am putting root of rc into Lg, since Lg equal to rc. So now gamma square equal to, so simplifying this, you can simplify this as root rg plus j omega root Lc the whole square. So gamma equal to, taking square root of this, you will be having gamma equal to root rg plus j omega root Lc. So the propagation constant is sum of attenuation constant and phase constants, alpha plus j beta. So equating the real terms and equating the imaginary terms, we have the attenuation constant alpha equal to root rg and the phase constant beta equal to omega root Lc. So alpha does not vary with frequency. Here you see there is no frequency term. Alpha is independent of frequency for a distortionless line, which eliminates the frequency distortion. And beta equal to omega root of Lc, which depends on the frequency. And the velocity equal to omega by beta. So omega by, instead of beta I am keeping omega root Lc. So velocity equal to 1 by root Lc kilometer per second. So the velocity also becomes independent of frequency, though there will not be any phase distortion. So all the waves will be reaching at the same time. So there will not be any phase distortion. So phase distortion is eliminated. Here frequency distortion is eliminated, and also due to proper impedance, your Z0 becomes root of L by C. So here also it is purely resistive. So there is no distortion due to characteristic impedance also. That means all the distortions are eliminated for the condition RC equal to Lg. So this is the condition for a distortionless line. Next, coming to the lossless line. For a lossless line, resistance is 0. That is resistance equal to conductance equal to 0 and there is no loss. Okay, alpha equal to 0. Therefore, gamma will become alpha plus j beta, which alpha equal to 0, only j beta. That means j into beta equal to omega root LC. So, gamma equal to j omega root LC. So, a transmission line is said to be lossless if the conductors of the line are perfect and the dielectric medium separating them is lossless. That means Z naught equal to R naught equal to root by LC. So, forming a table transmission line characteristics. So, we have general case gamma equal to alpha plus g beta, root of R plus j omega L, g plus j omega C, and Z naught equal to root of Z by Y, that is root of R plus j omega L by g plus j omega C. For a lossless line, so this R and G will become 0, so it is j omega root LC, and here Z naught equal to root of L by C. So here Z naught for last line, Z naught equal to root of L by C, and for a distortionless line, the gamma equal to root RG plus j omega root LC, and the characteristic impedance same as here lossless line, that is root of L by C. So this is the comparison of a lossless line and distortionless line. Then what do you mean by loading? So to avoid distortionless line, what we have to do is LG equal, the condition is LG equal to RC. So we have to improve the inductance of the transmission line. So loading is necessary. By loading means what it means, the inductance value has to be increased to achieve this. So increasing the value, how to increase the value of inductance means by inserting inductances in series with the line is called loading. So such lines are called loaded lines. So the different methods of loading are lumped loading, continuous loading and patched loading. First we will discuss about continuous loading. So here the loading is done by winding a type of iron or magnetic material around the conductor. So iron or magnetic material wound around the conductor. So this method can give an increase in inductance up to 65 millihenry per kilometer. But this is quite expensive due to laborious construction. The advantages of this continuous loading is that it increases uniformly with increasing in frequency. There is no cutoff frequencies. It is independent of frequency. And coming to the lumped loading and patched loading, in the lumped loading, the inductors are introduced in lumps of uniform distance in the line. It is also called inductive loading. So here look at this diagram. So this is the lumped. So here the inductors are introduced in lumps at uniform distance. Some uniform distance the inductors are introduced. Whereas in patch loading, sections of continuously loaded cable are separated by sections of unloaded cables. Loaded cable will be there and then unloaded cable will be there. So that type of loading is called the patch loading. So this curve shows the attenuation frequency characteristic curve. So frequency versus attenuation. So look at this, for unloaded cable, for increase in frequency, the attenuation constant very much increases. Whereas for continuous loading, for increase in frequency, the attenuation is constant, somewhat independent of frequency, constant. Whereas for lumped loading, after the cutoff frequency, the attenuation increases rapidly. So for constant frequency means we can go for continuous loading. So advantages of lumped loading are there is no practical limit to the value by which the inductance can be increased. The cost involved is small rather than the continuous loading. And then with this method, the existing lines can be tackled and modified easily. Modification is easily. Hysteresis and eddy current losses are small. But when you come to the disadvantages, after the cutoff frequency, in the case of lumped loading, the distortion increases. Next, coming to the Campbell's equation. This is the equation which gives analysis of the performance of a loaded line. So we consider some conditions that Z naught is the characteristic impedance, gamma is the propagation constant before loading, and gamma dash is the propagation constant after loading. ZL equal to the impedance of the loading coil, N equal to coil spacing, that is distance in kilometer between loading coil. N is the coil spacing. Consider this, and ZL is the impedance of the loading coil. So look at the diagram. This is an unloaded line, and this is the N distance. No, there is no loading here. So consider the T equivalent. Here we have Z1 by 2, Z1 by 2. In the shunt we have Z2. When you consider a loaded line, so here we have inductance and the distance between is N. The distance between the coils is N. So considering T equivalent for this loaded line, we have Z1 by 2, Z1 by 2 Z. And apart from this, we have the impedance due to the inductor. So what is the impedance due to inductor? ZL by 2, ZL by 2, and here so those two inductors are in. So what is the equivalent impedance? Z1 dash by 2. Instead of Z1 by 2, we have Z1 dash by 2 and Z1 dash by 2, which also include the inductance impedance. Okay. So let us derive for this. For a field of line N, sin h of n gamma equal to Z. This we have already derived, equal to Z0 by Z2, and cos h of n gamma equal to 1 plus Z1 by Z2. So equation number 1, 2. Now when the loading section is added,